Hi, I'm Dr. Nancy Hodgson, a professor here at the University of Pennsylvania School of Nursing, and I'm a member of the Internal Advisory Group of Penn AI Tech and a pilot investigator here at the center. Today I'm going to be talking to you about a neglected group of individuals when we think about dementia care, and that is dementia caregivers. Dementia caregivers are often referred to as the hidden population, yet they are the backbone of care in our dementia care system. Let's look at the numbers first. There are over 55 million people living with dementia globally, and behind each one of them is a family member, at least one, that's providing some care. That means over 100 million people globally that are family caregivers. These are individuals that are spouses, daughters, sons, neighbors, friends, sometimes referred to as care partners. They're not provided any training, they're not provided many resources, and they're not paid or reimbursed for this care. The cost to society is over $1 trillion, and that doesn't really account for the cost to these family caregivers in terms of cost to their health, cost to their relationships, or cost to their jobs. The strain on families and on these individuals can be profound. Let's look at what we can do to help these individuals. Caregivers are often unprepared for the role. They're often not trained or given much access to resources. And this can lead to social isolation. Families can often feel the stigma of the disease, which further cuts them off from resources and leads them more likely to also cut themselves off from family and friends. This can also then further lead to the burden that they experience. It could also lead to them not seeking out resources that may be available to them. But at the same time, and the good news is that there are resources available and that people can find meaning in this role if they avail themselves to those resources. And as a consequence, people who are caregivers can experience resilience and can find meaning and purpose in the role, particularly through family bonds, community bonds. They can find meaning and resilience through religion, spirituality, and it's through those experiences that we can develop community programs and other resources for these individuals. An important point to keep in mind is that no individual caregiver experiences this role the same way. Two family caregivers can experience it very differently. An important thing to keep in mind is that we need to meet each caregiver where they're at. The good news is that we have evidence-based resources available to provide for these caregivers. There's over 200 evidence-based programs available. And when we look across these programs, there are 6 essential ingredients for all of them. These are disease education, emotional support, social support, and connection to community services, help managing behavioral symptoms, guidance on meaningful activities, and navigation through the healthcare system. What's interesting is that each of these elements changes as individuals move across the dementia trajectory. Early on, family caregivers most need disease education. They need to learn about what dementia encompasses, the disease pathology, the specific dementia disease pathology, in other words, education about what to expect, medication management, and support, validation about the challenges that this role encompasses. As they move into the more moderate stage of dementia, the focus moves to managing the behavioral symptoms. Things like wandering, sleep disruption, perhaps challenges in activities of daily living like bathing or dressing or meal times. And then in the more advanced stages, the challenges are mostly about navigating the healthcare system, the many transitions in care that occur. This is when care becomes quite challenging. It requires a lot of physical care, and navigating and managing perhaps hospice and palliative care become the pressing challenges here. Again, each family is going to face these challenges differently, but at its core are these 6 features. One important component throughout all of this is the role of meaningful activities. In other words, keeping someone engaged with their caregiver in activities that give them meaning and purpose each day of their life, and keeping them engaged in a life that gives them meaning and purpose in any activities that give them that sense of fulfillment. So where does this leave us, and how is this related to AI technologies? Well, one, we have to fundamentally recognize that caregivers are part of the care team. They are the care. And the well-being of the dementia caregiver directly influences the well-being of the person with dementia. These are inseparable. The second is that we have decades of evidence available to help family members. As I mentioned, we have over 200 evidence-based programs available. We know what to do. The problem is access for families. The access is either geographic or financial. Families are having trouble reaching or having access to these programs through cultural, financial, language barriers. And so this is where technology can come in. AI solutions can help us overcome these implementation barriers by taking evidence-based solutions and moving them into technology-based interventions. It can reach caregivers when they need it in ways that are culturally appropriate and personalized to their situation. AI can help caregivers navigate complex care decisions in their own language, using and drawing upon evidence-based solutions. Or conversely, AI can help identify caregivers that are at risk for burnout and target them to receive evidence-based solutions. We have the evidence, we have the technology. What we need to do now is bring them together thoughtfully in ways that keep caregivers at the center of what we're doing. Thank you for watching, and if you're interested in learning more about this topic, please visit the Penn AI Tech website.